All right. Same outfits because we're knocking it all out on the same day, which I think is cool. Currently, we are in Oregon, headed towards Bend. Yeah, we're picking up where we last left off, which was after the cruise. Made it back into Seattle, and from there, we drove to Olympic National Park. And what do you have to say about Olympic?
Olympic National Park is my favorite national park
Yeah.
that I can step foot on.
We saw 2 parts of it and immediately we're like, oh, we could definitely come back. Already talking about, I'd like to spend a month here in the summertime at some point. I think that would be really cool. Just to be able to really see more of things, cherish it more in depth. I feel like this trip for us, because we're technically on a timeline, especially now, like we know we have to be home in Florida for a certain event by a certain date. And so I've felt like this trip has been us fitting in as much as we can to see what we'd want to dive further deep into in the future. So Washington is definitely one of those places, and Olympic National Park is 100% one of those places. So the first place we went to was Hurricane Ridge. That was the most beautiful mountain range.
Best mountains.
Yeah.
Plural mountains that I've seen ever.
So that was fun.
It looked fake. We had pictures and they didn't do them justice whatsoever.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. It was ridiculous.
We had a good time there. It was funny because we had just gotten off the cruise, and if you guys watched our last episode, we talked about how the entertainment on the cruise was definitely geared towards the older generation. On our drive to Hurricane Ridge, we were listening to like all the Beatles songs and all the Jersey Boy stuff. And that was cool to, what would you say, bring it full circle?
We used our newfound appreciation for
Oh yes, I knew you were going to say it well.
for what we had seen. One, because we didn't have Wi-Fi on the ship, so we couldn't be like, oh, what was that song? So we're listening to the Beatles, we're listening to Frankie Valli and his music. So that was like the soundtrack to us going through
Hurricane
Ridge and the rest of Olympic National Park. But Hurricane Ridge was funny because we had gotten done looking at what we were going to look at. I turned the van back on and it's just blasting Sherry, which is a very unique song. And there's old people, they're like turning their heads. It was funny.
We were setting
It was
the
so
mood.
quiet and all you could hear was us blasting that.
And that was cool too because the deer were up there.
Oh man, a deer tried to square up with me.
You did not. He just wasn't scared of you.
He was
He
trying
made
to
it
square up.
known. But yeah, they were like babies.
Yeah, they were young.
They were cute, and they're just walking in the road like nothing. We were super close to them.
We were 7 feet from the deer.
So that was a cool little trip we did in there. The way Olympic is, it's very separated, so it would be hard to see.
There's nothing connecting everything from the middle.
Mm-hmm.
There's only the loop around.
And you have, if you're gonna see something, you're like driving to it, and then you got to drive right back out of it.
Yeah.
So we had a map there, so we knew what we were working with. I told Ray I wanted to hit Forks, Washington.
Why?
Fun fact, Forks, Washington is where Twilight was based out of. And yeah, I'm not like a crazy Twilight fan, but I did read all the books when they came out and watched all the movies and stuff. So I'm like, all right, yeah, let's go check out this town. Which, funny enough, part of the stuff in that area was part of Olympic National Park. So that was really cool. It ended up working out in our favor. Because I had to Google, okay, we're headed to Forks. What do you do in Forks? And one person on Reddit, shout out to you, I forgot what their name was, but they were super thorough in things that you could do, Twilight related, and they had mentioned going to Rialto Beach and going to the Hoh Rainforest. Which I don't think it's Ho, I think it's Ha, I don't know, H-O-H.
It's Ho.
Yeah, we're calling it the Hoh Rainforest. But Rialto Beach, what did you think about that?
Rialto Beach is
You
my
loved it.
favorite beach.
And that's like the Twilight territory.
It's in werewolf territory.
I'm saying, yeah, they had a sign there that said it was like a treaty sign, no vampires allowed. So I thought that was crazy how it's like part of the Twilight stuff, but then also part of the park. it was like a stop on the map in the park. So, yeah.
But Rialto Beach, there was a ton of wood, like big logs that were on the perimeter of where we were. And then once you get past that, it's just rocks that have just been eroded down. They're all super round, nice rocks, but there's no sand. It's all rocks. It stunk horribly.
It wasn't horrible. Dick
It
stink.
stunk. It smelled like a fish market. But there was mountains nearby.
It's all rocks.
It's
not
all
sand.
rocks.
Yeah.
No sand.
We saw some carcasses.
We saw some carcasses. We saw a hollowed out stingray carcass.
That was cool.
Yeah, that was crazy.
For those that don't know, I recently shared how I had an Apple Store mishap. We lost a good chunk of our photos. I had a picture of that stingray and a crab.
Yeah, hollowed out eating crab.
Yeah.
That could have just been somebody that was eating crabs out there.
Yeah, but like we said earlier, I know we're going to be back visiting that area, so we'll definitely capture it safely next time.
Yeah. But yeah, Rialto Beach is beautiful.
Yeah, so we hit that. We enjoyed our time there, and then we decided to head toward the Hoh Rainforest. And the person on Reddit had made that as a recommendation too, and they even said something along the lines of, I've never seen anything like it before. And we legitimately felt like we were on another planet.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. That is my favorite part of the national park. It was like you're walking in a fantasy forest of some Dungeons and Dragons or some shit. It was crazy. It doesn't look real. There's moss all over the trees. It's nuts.
We were having fun in there. I used to have videos of us skipping. We were skipping through the forest and stuff and just having a good time. But yeah, I will definitely be back there.
But I would definitely camp out there.
Mm-hmm.
The trees are monstrous.
Something we didn't get to see that we were hoping to see, which Olympic National Park had the coolest national park map. Just the art on it. I think I can share it with you guys. But like you could see all the different animals. I gotta open this up. One of the animals that we wanted to see, let me see, hold on, was, do you remember what it was called? It's like a slug.
Oh,
look at this map.
Big slug. So Gene's son-in-law from the cruise told us about the slugs in the Hoh Rainforest.
Yeah, but it wasn't really raining while we were out there. I think they would come out more in the rain. But
Yeah,
they're supposed to be like thickies.
Monsters.
So we didn't get to see any of those. We saw some chipmunks. I think that was Mount
That was
Rainier.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think we really saw any animals there then.
Nope, thankfully.
But yeah, we had a good time.
We were in the rainforest until it got dark. And now it started getting scary after that. It was a little spooky.
Yeah, from there we went through Hoquiam, which funny enough ended up being like the hometown of the comedian on the cruise that we didn't like. I thought it was funny that Ray remembered that.
The name stuck because he said the same thing twice.
I had already thrown it
Indian.
away.
Apparently it's native for, what is it?
Logging?
No, hungry for wood. That's what it was.
Yeah.
And he said it was a big logging town and a big prostitution area.
That was his joke. But yeah, so we ended up staying near that town. Nothing too crazy there. From there, that next day was when we decided to go to Mount Rainier. Is it like Rainier?
Rainier, I have no idea.
I don't know, but we
Not
went
from
there. It was cool. I liked that. That was a park too, right? Yeah. National
Mount
Park.
Rainier was my favorite mountain that I've seen.
So it's a volcano.
Volcano.
And that was the weird part for me because it didn't feel like a volcano at all. It did feel like a mountain, but I'll take their word for it. Volcano. We got to see a waterfall that day, and that waterfall was really gorgeous. We would definitely go back to that park too.
Yeah. There was a rainbow.
We didn't get to go to Paradise.
No.
Oh, we didn't get a map that day. That was
they didn't-
unfortunate.
For some reason, they didn't have maps over there.
Yeah, there's probably been like 3 or 4 parks that's happened to us, and it's devastating.
Unacceptable.
But yeah, what we did see, we had a good time with. Oh, that was when we saw the twins. So I was trying to see if, okay, maybe there's people that came through a different entrance that had maps, because we've had that happen before too, different entrances will have maps when others won't. And I thought I saw this family have a map, and long story short, they didn't. But they had these 2 twin baby girls. They were probably like 3 or 4 years old. And one of them wanted their mom to pick them up, and she said no. And she started crying, the little girl. She's like, wah! And then her sister starts crying, but in conjunction.
It was a seesaw of crying.
It was like, wah, 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 wah.
And they had different tones, so it made it funny.
And yeah, we ended up laughing. We couldn't help ourselves.
Jackie laughed first.
That's just funny. Oh my gosh. Hey, kudos to those parents though. They stuck to their ground. They didn't pick up the girls till they stopped crying. Yeah, that's good parenting right there. But that was pretty much it. We drove and saw the falls after that, and then we headed out of the park.
The waterfall is beautiful.
Oh yeah, the waterfall was gorgeous. There was a rainbow at the bottom of it. I did lose those pictures also, but I want to talk about those moments because talking about it right now, I can still see it in my head. So hopefully watching this in the future, I'll still be able to see those pictures in my head. But yeah, so we left that park, and that was the craziest thing we've ever seen. Oh, business call, gotta take it. So we ended up leaving after that, the falls pretty much, and that was the craziest thing because as we're leaving, I kid you not, I have never seen an entrance into the park so backed up before.
It was a solid
3 miles.
3 miles
Yeah.
of just bumper to bumper cars.
Trying to get into the park while we were leaving. So that was a blessing. I don't know how we got through fairly easy. We came through a different entrance. I don't know if that had something to do with it, but yeah, that place was packed. I think it was a Sunday. So yeah, that was crazy. And then from there, look at that dog. Oh, two dogs. You see? We're driving through town right now. Where are we? Sisters, Oregon. Oh, they're having a fork festival. Oh, folk. I like little towns like this with the dogs out of their head. But yeah, so from there, the plan was to go to Mount St. Helens. We ended up staying, do you remember where we stayed? We stayed in a town in between the two somewhere. If I saw it.
Oh, Salem? No.
It was before Salem, I think. But yeah, so the plan was to go to Mount St. Helens the next day. Unfortunately, we drove to Mount St. Helens. We got to see some of it, but a majority of it was covered by like a fog cloud. And then the drive, like the path to drive there just stopped. And it was like a rocky road that Ray was like, okay, we're not going down there. And it was weird because driving to it, our GPS kept rerouting. It was telling us that streets were closed. We kept seeing signs that were like, road closed in 9 miles. We're like, what the frick? And the roads wouldn't be closed. We made it through. It was a little bit cooler in terms of a volcano in comparison to Mount Rainier. Even though we didn't get to see what it looked like completely because of the fog cloud, you could tell it had more of a volcano shape.
It had volcano vibes.
Volcano vibes, yeah. So I think you were a little bit disappointed.
I was disappointed.
Yeah.
But then later we saw something else, right?
What?
I forgot, but it made up for the missing the volcano.
What? How could you forget then?
But I forgot.
Oh! When we couldn't make it to Mount St. Helens anymore, we drove to Tillamook.
Oh, yeah.
Tillamook cheddar. Okay, so backstory. I used to work at a restaurant called Firebird's Wood Fired Grill. And they had burgers that they would write on the menu had Tillamook cheddar. And so I used to tell Ray that, oh yeah, Tillamook cheddar. And I don't even know what he thought I was saying at first. I don't think he understood that was like the cheese that was on the burger. But I was like, oh yeah, you want some Tillamook cheddar? Turns out Tillamook, I don't even know if I'm saying it right anymore. Tillamook is a town in Oregon.
On the Pacific coast.
And they have a creamery. So they make ice cream, they make their cheeses. They have this whole factory that you can walk through and see their entire process. We did that.
You skipped Astoria.
Go ahead. What did I skip?
What, Seaside?
We didn't really do anything there.
Yeah, but we saw the beach.
Oh, was that Seaside?
That was the same day. Yeah.
Oh, that was the same day?
That's what I'm talking about.
Okay. Are you sure that was the same day? Oh,
same
man.
Day as Mount St. Helens.
Okay, so yeah, we got bummed out not being able to see Mount St. Helens. Okay, yeah, we had driven to Vancouver, Washington. That's where I got my eyebrows done. I was struggling, y'all. But this lady took a chunk out of my eyebrow, I swear. But anyway, from there we went to, everyone keeps recommending driving the Pacific Coast, which there's a song I've been listening to recently too. It talks about leaving their soul on the Pacific Coast Highway. So I'm like, boom, I gotta listen to this song on the highway. Let's go to the 101 coast. And a friend of ours from Oregon recommended going to Astoria and Seaside. So we drove through Astoria, that was nice. Seaside was only like 20 minutes away after that. And that was a beautiful beach that we got to go to.
Yeah.
Regular beach town. The water was pretty cold. The way that the sand looked closer to the water, it looked like glass, like it was reflecting the sky on that part of the sand. And that was really beautiful too. Yeah, anything else you want to add?
No.
So we stayed there that night. I missed a day. Yeah, we didn't go to Tillamook till the next day. But yeah, so Seaside, I guess, was what you were talking about, referring to. That made it up for Mount St. Helens. We had a good time there. And then we went to Tillamook the next day, checked out the factory. They had free cheese samples. Their samples were a little weird, not gonna lie. I think I only liked Tillamook cheddar. Their sharp white cheddar was a little milky, like creamy. I don't even know how to describe it, but it was not my cup of tea. And Ray's definitely not.
I don't fuck with sharp cheddar anything.
Oh my god.
Any sort of sharp, hard cheeses, I don't really fuck with that.
I think it could be good melted into a sauce. Put it on some shells.
Masked by everything else.
And then they had a Colby Jack one that we tried too. Yeah, the cheddar was the best one. Then we tried their ice cream, and
in Tillamook we went to the factory and we were able to see the cheese essentially being made. We didn't really see it being made, but we saw it getting packaged up because it was towards the end of the day. But after the factory tour, it goes to the gift shop area, and then it goes to where you can eat different foods. So they had their ice cream there, and they had
cheese curds.
They had cheese curds and
like
a
whole
pizza.
menu, burgers, poutine. Thought about it.
We got some ice cream.
Yeah, we just went for the ice cream. They had Marionberry, which is what Oregon's known for. And I, to be honest, was disappointed. I had the Marionberry pie ice cream, and the pie crust in my ice cream tasted like it had cinnamon in it, and it just was not
too cinnamony.
It was not, why is there cinnamon on a Marionberry pie? I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. And that just goes back to, we gotta find a Marionberry pie before we make it to California to see what it's actually like. But yeah, I had also, Ray tried like a Marionberry swirl.
The swirl was better than the pie.
But still not anything
because it didn't
crazy.
have pie pieces.
Yeah. And then
still not mind-blowing.
Yeah. And then I got a peaches and cream. So they had like a flight option, and that's what we decided to go with so we could try more flavors. I told Ray, I was like, yeah, that was one of those times where being adventurous kind of bit me in the ass. I wish I had gotten strawberry as one of my flavors. Strawberry looked really good. I should have just done it. But it was all right.
The ice cream itself was very good compared to
regular ice cream.
Regular ice cream
yeah,
or ice
it was
cream
definitely
places. It was good ice cream.
A nice creamy texture.
It was very creamy.
But yeah, that was that day. And then we drove out to Salem. That's when we stayed in Salem. And that was pretty much, the next day was when the whole Apple Store debacle happened. And that was pretty much our whole day, unfortunately. And then today we went to Silver Falls State Park.
Yeah.
And that's like a 20-30 minute drive outside of Salem. And that was pretty cool. It's a state park, so you gotta pay $5 for parking. But I think the concept of it was really cool. They had this 10 Falls hike, which was like an 8-mile loop that we weren't really trying to do today. But we were able to still do a smaller hike that showed us one of the falls. But I think the concept of being able to go through 8 miles and see 10 different waterfalls, that's got to be pretty cool. Yeah. So we had a good time walking through what we did walk through. And now we're headed towards Bend, Oregon. I'm having a good time on the West Coast. I feel like the West Coast is already known for being as beautiful as it is. It's not like a hidden gem like Idaho was. I definitely think we enjoyed Washington more than we're enjoying Oregon, but we haven't really gotten into everything just yet. Yeah, I know we're gonna end up going back to the Pacific Coast, and that's when I'm gonna play my song. Looking forward to that. And yeah, I guess we'll just catch you up on the next one. Yeah.